Welcome to TTMCast One-on-One with Jeff Baker. Every Wednesday, we'll bring one-on-one interviews with hobby professionals, former athletes, authors, and collectors. Sponsored by Certified Sports Guarantee. Go to csgcards.com for sports card grading for the win. And by sportscollectorsdaily.com. If it happens in the hobby, you'll find it on sportscollectorsdaily.com. And sponsored by GemRate.com. The latest grading statistic from the 4 major grading companies is just a click away. Visit GemRate.com. It's free. Sponsored by Collects, the free app for scanning and valuing your cards. Use the app to build your collection and buy and sell with other collectors. Turn the hobby into your side hustle. And now, here's our host, Jeff Baker.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to TTMcast One-on-One. It is October 4th. It is Wednesday. Time for our Wednesday show. We do a new show every Wednesday and every Saturday, except this Saturday. My name is Jeff Baker. I am talking to you from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm the host of this fine show, and I'm joined by my friend and co-host from Arlington, Texas. His name is Drew Pelto. He is DFW Grapher on YouTube, on what do we call it? X, on Twitter, on Instagram, all over the place. He just posted a new video. Make sure you check it out on YouTube. Hey, Drew.
Hey, how's it going?
Very good. You know what? I miss you. When I don't talk to you for a couple of days, I miss you.
Yeah.
It's like, geez, I miss Drew. I haven't talked to him in a couple of days. This is kind of like bonus Drew. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to catching up, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We want to just remind everyone that we have Rich Brummetth. He is the Happy Collector on TikTok and on YouTube. He posts videos all the time. He's been out there. He's a great content creator. We talked to Rick about Rich, what's going on in the hobby and his cool video channel. So that is coming up. I want to remind everyone about our friends at Collect. Their marketplace is now live. And if you would like to get $10 towards your first purchase, and you can use it towards your second purchase and your third purchase, it doesn't run out. You get $10. You can spend it any way you want. It's really easy. What you have to do is you go on to Google Play or Apple App Store, download the Collects app. It's free. Doesn't cost you a nickel. Once you get your Collects username, send it over to us, and we will send that over to Collects with your email address, and they will put $10 in your Collects account. You can use it and spend it however you like. Right, Drew?
Exactly. Yes.
And it works pretty good. Drew spent some of his. I spent most of mine, and I got 3 or 4 cards, and Drew I think got one card anyway, and I think he's looking for another card. So you want $10 for doing nothing or doing almost nothing? You never somebody hand you a $10 bill and says, let's go spend it on cards, right, Drew?
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often. I mean, it's never happened to me except right there with Collects. It's the only time.
That's right. So send it on over. I'll send it off to our friends at Collects, and they will drop it right in your account. Drew, we got baseball playoffs starting today. The Tampa Bay Rays, and they got the stupid Tampa Bay Devil Rays shirts on there today. I don't know why they would bring those back. They were miserable. That's like I don't know, pick the worst team in the league, and that was they were horrible when they were the Devil Rays.
Yeah, they pretty much were. Yeah,
and they bring those uniforms back today, and they're playing against the Texas Rangers, your Texas Rangers. I know
they're not. They're not my Texas Rangers. Let's make that very clear.
Well, you know what? Your Guardians have the worst bullpen in the league, so you have to go with the team with the second worst bullpen in the league, which is the Texas Rangers.
Gross.
Well, you know what, Drew, I have one question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Where the heck is everybody? Where's all the fans?
Have you seen the dome there in Tampa? Would you want to watch a game?
I've been there.
Yeah. Would you want to watch a game in there? I mean, it's one of the worst ballparks in all of baseball, and unfortunately, Texas kind of copied a few elements of it, making their ballparks like, come on, guys, step it up a bit there. But yeah, I mean, it's weird. Tampa has the best home record out of any American League playoff team, and the crazy thing is, you have the best home record among any American League playoff team, going up against the worst road record of any American League playoff team in the Rangers. And right now, as we're recording this, Rangers are up 4-0. It's like,
I know Tampa's made 4 errors, I think, already.
That certainly doesn't help. I think 4 errors already, and they their starter walked 5 batters, including the first 2 batters of both the 5th and 6th. So you're just asking for trouble there.
Are you planning on going to any Ranger playoff games?
Oh God, no chance. Nope.
Because you don't want to spend the money, because you don't want to support the team, because you just I would go and root against them.
All of the above. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff against the Rangers organization as a whole. I don't like that stadium at all. No, I just have no interest in going and supporting them at all.
If they get into the American League Championship Series, would you go?
No.
No, you don't want to support the Rangers.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I can give a damn if they're about to, sweep the World Series Game 4. Somebody says, "Hey, here's some tickets for $25 only." I'm still gonna say, I don't care. No.
I should have had a rant and rave for you this week. I should have given you the rant and rave today.
Yeah. Oh well.
You're a little ornery. It could have been a good one.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I want to mark. What was Sunday's date? Sunday was the 30th.
To the 30th or the first? The first.
Okay, the first.
Yeah.
Well, October 1st. It's official. My New England Patriots are done. They're 1-3. They couldn't do anything against that Cowboy team. Is not good. I'm sorry, it's not good.
Yeah. I mean, and to make it even worse, I mean, Dallas lost one of their best defenders for the season there when what's his name? Diggs, I think went down injured.
I know. Micah Parsons was playing on one leg.
Yeah, that too.
Dak Prescott is overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Pollard is just another guy. He doesn't impress me at all. The only guy, CeeDee Lamb's about the only guy that on that team that has any talent, I think. But we couldn't do anything, and we just lost. I just saw Matthew Judon is going to be out for the year. He hurt his shoulder, and they lost. Christian Gonzalez, the rookie, is going to got hurt. So I don't know how long he's going to be out. But officially on October 1st, I can't believe it. 4 games into the season, my Patriots are done, and your Brownies are not that far behind, my friend.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the quarterback health there, because I mean, I like Dorian Thompson-Robinson as a long-term guy, but expecting to have to do anything in the 4th game of the season, when even as of that morning he wasn't expecting to start, and suddenly throwing him in there against a team with a historically great defense and having no running game around him, yeah, you're asking for trouble. And hopefully Watson's shoulder gets back to normal, but yeah, it's concerning. It's concerning. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, no Nick Chubb, no Watson is a shell of what he was 2 or 3 years ago. He is not the same guy.
He's still better than Thompson-Robinson is, but I mean, DTR is also, I mean, like I said, I'm willing to give DTR a pass. It was his very first game and he wasn't expected to start, but Watson he started to bounce back a little bit against Tennessee there, but let's be honest, anybody should look good against Tennessee, so who knows if that's real or not, but yeah.
No, the Brownies have a good D. That's about it. I think their defense is pretty good, but you cannot you got to be able to score in this league with the you look at Miami, you look at Buffalo, you look at Kansas City, you look at the Eagles, you look at the Rams, and the Rams aren't going anywhere, but the 49ers even could score. These teams can score. If you can't put up 28 points, you're in trouble.
Yep.
Right? And I don't think the Brownies can do that.
They've only done it once so far this year, so yeah, you're not wrong.
Yep. All right, buddy. Hey, we're giving away a 5x7 autographed Bob Stanley picture. I want to thank Drew for that. I actually got it for him at the Red Sox game last week, and he said, "No, why don't you give it away to listeners?" So, guys, if you want to win a 5x7 autographed picture of Bob Stanley, he was a closer and a relief pitcher for the Red Sox in the 80s, right? He was on the 86 Red Sox team that almost won the World Series. So we'll just say almost won the World Series. I think he was an all-star once or twice too, right?
I think so. I mean, he was one of the top closers of the mid-'80s, so it seemed like
he was pretty good. So all we need is your name and your mailing address. Put Bob Stanley in the subject line. Send us your entries to
TTMcast@yahoo.com.
And we'll give that picture away on next Wednesday's show. All right, Drew, next Wednesday's show, we will pick the winner. I've got a couple people entered already, but let's get a couple more people entered into it. And it's a pretty cool picture. It's a 5x7 autographed in person, so the autograph is good, right? And it's a nice little prize. All right, guys, make sure
I just looked it up, by the way, to go with what we were saying before. He is indeed a 2-time All-Star. In 1979, when he was still a starter, he made it on the team. And 1983 when he had moved into closing role. So 2 times as 2 different roles.
He was pretty good. Do you remember what Bob Stanley was most famous for at Fenway Park?
At Fenway? No, I don't.
He was most famous for beat break in the bullpen.
Oh
So
wow.
they, they'd have the beach balls out in the bleachers, and
Hmm.
somehow they would either go into the bullpen or go on the field, and they would throw it into the bullpen, and Stanley would take a rake and literally obliterate it.
Nice.
That's what he was famous for. But
Yeah.
he was a pretty good cool guy. So he was fun to talk to. I was actually the last person to get his autograph in Autograph Alley the other day. So I was coming in and like, come on, you could be the last one. So I was grateful for him to sign, and I talked to him for a minute. All right, guys. So just a reminder, make sure you check out my article in Sports Collectors Daily this week. I write an article on TTM and a summary of what's going on in the show every week, usually posts on Tuesday, just about every Tuesday. Make sure you check it out. But there will be no article this week. All right, guys. There's going to be no article this week and no show this week. I'm actually heading to Savannah, Georgia, for the long Columbus Day weekend. We'll be back, and Drew and I will have a show next Wednesday. But just remember, there'll be no show and no article this week, the Saturday and next week. All right, Drew, how's your week going so far?
Pretty slow again. No purchases or trades or anything like that. I do have a trade that should be arriving later this week, though, fortunately, so I'll be able to talk about that. But I do have a TTM that I got in at least. And since we're not having a show this week, I figure I should probably mention it now because it's kind of a big one. This was on another Hall of Famer's rookie card. Back in February, I mailed out to Bill Cowher, the former coach of Pittsburgh Steelers. His rookie card is in the 92 Pro Set product. Had a couple of those. I'm like, you know what? Let's fire one off and see what we get. And yeah, here we are. What, about 8 months later it took to come back to me, but got it back signed. He put a Super Bowl XL on it. It was the one that he won as a coach there. I'd asked him, would you mind putting your Hall of Fame year on it? He put the Super Bowl one on there instead. I'm good with it either way. It still looks good. But yeah, another Hall of Famer rookie to add to the collection there. So happy to land that one at least, even if everything else is going slow.
Yeah, I don't have him. I'm gonna have to see if I can pick up that rookie card. I have all the 91 Pro Set. I don't know if I have that 92 card. I'll have to check.
Yeah, I didn't have many from 92 at all. My big years for collecting football stuff was about the 89, 90, and 91 Pro Set products. 92 I wasn't as interested in. And if you look at some of the photos in that 92 set, my God, that 92 set was very low on the quality. I mean, all of Pro Set was kind of a very low quality control at times. All the errors that you saw in 92 and all that kind of stuff. And then 90 in 1990, I mean, had all the errors in it. 1992, got some of the photo selection was ridiculous. You're seeing photos from like 4 years prior they were getting used in there and everything. So yeah, but hey, you got a Bill Cowher rookie card in there at least, and might be a couple others that are in there too. But Bill Cowher is definitely the big one there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick one up. Thank you. That's a good tip. All right, Drew. I think we got all our housekeeping in order. Let's do batting leadoff.
Leading off, it is Hobby Happening.
Hobby happenings. Yay! I'm doing my Muppet arms. Yay! Hobby happenings. Yay!
Let's get the show started. Leading off, we look at hobby happenings.
Smart collectors turn to Sports Collectors Daily to stay up to date. From new releases to incredible collections hitting the auction block, news from inside the business of sports collectibles, and much more, Sports Collectors Daily has it, all with no subscription cost. SC Daily also delivers a live look at the most watched sports card auctions on eBay for every sport. Sign up to get the headlines in your email for free, or just visit the website whenever you like. With 16,000 stories in the archive going back 16 years, there's always plenty to read at sportscollectorsdaily.com.
All right, Drew. You know what? We had a court ruling the other day, and this one we're going to give a win to Panini. The NFL Players Association emergency relief request against Panini was dismissed. The judge dismissed it, and I think that's a fair ruling. I don't know why they thought that they were going to get away with it. I know you can't really comment much on it, but I think it was I don't know what's it called when they file a lawsuit that's really doesn't have anything behind it.
Frivolous.
A frivolous. I think it was a frivolous lawsuit.
A little bit. I can understand they're trying to get out of the deal there and get over Fanatics and everything, but they came in with really no leg to stand on in this whole thing and went for it anyway. So yeah, frivolous, maybe not quite that far, but ill-advised, yes, for sure, I think.
I'm gonna say frivolous. I think it was a frivolous lawsuit. So congratulations on Panini, and we will keep you up to date on anything that happens in the court. We have all sorts of rulings coming down the pike, I think. So that's a nice win for Panini, and they won the WWE one as well. So they're doing after getting that crushed in the copyright infringement lawsuit, they've won a couple of little ones. So good job, Panini. Just, we're not doing the Vern Rat Minute this week because we're not going to have a show on Saturday, but I just want to cover a couple deaths that happened this weekend in the world of sports, both related to New England. One, first, we lost Tim Wakefield. Tim Wakefield was a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Boston Red Sox. Did he pitch for anyone else?
I think it was just those two. And fun fact, he actually came up as an infielder in the minor leagues. And we discovered he didn't really have much of a bat. They're like, hey, how about you chuck that knuckleball out here? And it worked well for him.
He's a pretty good knuckleballer. And I know I think he's top 3 in Red Sox history in like strikeouts and wins and a couple appearances. Maybe he pitched, he was a starter and he was a reliever at times. So he of course was a great Red Sox guy, and he was involved with the Red Sox alumni here in Boston and the Jimmy Fund. And, he had brain cancer, and we didn't know about it until it got leaked, about 3 or 4 days ago?
Kurt Schilling's a dick, but yeah, it was about a week or so ago.
Yeah. So it got leaked, and then Tim passed away this past, I believe it was either Saturday or Sunday, and he was 57 years old. So I know he had a lot of presence here in New England. He didn't sign through the mail, but he was a very good guy in person. So I'm sure there's a lot of Tim Wakefield autographs out there, but Tim Wakefield had a lot of presence out here in New England, and he will be missed as part of the Red Sox family. We also lost Russ Francis. Russ Francis was an all-world tight end per Howard Cosell for the New England Patriots in the San Francisco 49ers in the 70s and early 80s, right? In the 70s, he made a bunch of Pro Bowls. He was a colorful guy. He was from Hawaii. He also he signed all his or a lot of his autograph requests aloha, and
nice.
He ended up he lived in, I believe, Connecticut and Hawaii, and he was 70 years old, and he died in a plane crash in Lake Placid, New York. So I don't know if he was piloting, because I know he did have his pilot's license, so I think he did fly, but he passed away in a plane crash, which is too bad. He was one of the the few bright spots in the early to mid 80s, 70s, I should say, with the Patriots before they had a little run there, and he was a hell of a player, and he was a colorful character, and he was always signing local shows here. So I know he signed a lot. Did you get him TTM?
No, never got Francis, never got Wakefield in person or anything either. So yeah, never got either.
All right, Russ Francis, I got at least 3 or 4 times at TTM. And he was a good signer. So we lost bought 2 guys from the Boston sports world, and 2 guys that I was big fans of. So we're sorry for the loss. Drew, we have grading numbers from our friends at GemRate for September.
Yes. Yeah, I've got the stuff on the entire month, comparing also both back to the numbers in August and comparing to September of 2022. PSA 1.2 million cards graded. That actually was down from August, a 2% drop right there, but up 12% over what we saw in last year in September of 2022. CGC moving into the number 2 slot. They had a big celebration about that. Good to see that.
Congratulations, CGC.
Yes. 147,000 cards graded. That's up 38% since August and up 62% since last year. So a vast increase right there for them. SGC, 115,000 cards graded. That's down 3% from August, but up 66% from last year. So SGC having a nice month there as well. Beckett down a little bit, 61,000 cards graded. That's an 18% drop from August and a 4% drop from last year, but still kind of, holding right there with their typical numbers there for the most part.
Yeah, guys, keep in mind the numbers that GemRate are reporting on are all cards. So that's gaming cards as well as sports cards, right? So that's for all 4 companies, and it's an even playing field for all 4 companies. So it's not like PSA is getting credit for just all sports cards, while CGC is getting credit for gaming and sports cards. It's even across all 4 companies. So very cool. We love to get some grading numbers, and thanks for our friends at GemRate. Drew, we will have the big three. We'll do the big three next week, okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
They'll send Ryan will send me the big three on Friday, and then we'll report it on next Wednesday's show, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, bud. We have some new releases. A lot of new releases this week. We have the WNBA Prism, which is a Panini product. They get 12 packs, 12 cards per pack. You get 2 autos. The hobby boxes are going for about $145. Drew, do you know if the WNBA guy people are good TTMers?
I haven't really done a whole lot of TTMing there. I've sent to a few former players and coaches that are now retired, but I have not tried any active players yet at all.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. It'd be interesting to know if any of the current players are good TTMers, because I know really basketball, there's only a few, baseball, there's only a few, even hockey, there's only a few. The current guys seem to be tougher to get, but I don't know where the WNBA isn't as big and they don't have as many requests and as many fans. Maybe they do a good job. If you guys are any listeners are out there and if you've done any WNBA TTM, and send us an email at
TTMcast@yahoo.com.
and let us know.
Got some Panini, I believe Panini is just the football set there for the gold standards coming out. Got a Panini gold standard football. First off the line is going to be coming out now. Got 1 pack of 7 cards. Gold standard always has a gold theme to it. Really cool looking stuff there. $750 for that box of first off the line gold standard.
Yeah, I've bought some gold standard off eBay. Just Patriots guys and rookie cards and stuff, and I like them. They're nice cards.
Yeah,
we have 2022-23 Panini's Contenders, which is Optic NBA. You get 1 pack of 6 cards, 1 auto, and those are going for about $350. That's 2022-23 Panini Contenders for $350.
Slide over onto the ice. We've got some Upper Deck Premier Hockey coming out. This is a little bit of an older one. This is going to be from the 21-22 Upper Deck Premier Hockey. Kind of delayed a bit there, but that is coming out now. 1 pack of 6 cards. And in there, you'll see 2 memorabilia and 1 auto patch and 1 auto. So a lot of stuff on there going on there with the mem and the patches and the autos and all of that. $245 with the price on that product.
Sure, this one I missed this one. I don't know why I missed this one before. I guess this is the 4th or 5th year that they've done this, but 2023-24 Topps NHL hockey sticker box and album. They're going for about $50. There's 285 stickers in the set, which is a huge set. You get 1 foil per pack. There's 50 packs in a box, 5 stickers per pack. And we'll have to talk to Clemente about this next week. Have you been getting these? Have you gotten these? Have you followed these?
No, I never have at all. Topps took over the sticker deal in 2019, it looks like, from what I'm seeing here. It was around 2018-19 was Panini's final year of it. 19-20 was Topps' first year with it. So, yeah, I haven't really checked it out much at all. I used to do a lot of work on the Panini ones there, but, yeah, I haven't checked out Topps' at all.
Yeah, I missed that one. That one flew under the radar. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that Topps is the hockey stickers, and with 685 stickers in the set, it must be a pretty cool set. We'll have to talk to Clemente about that one next week. All right?
Yeah, definitely. Got some Panini Mosaic Football No Huddle is coming out now. 12 packs of 12 cards. We're mentioning a few different varieties of Panini Mosaic, No Huddle being the most recent one. But like I said, 12 packs, 12 cards, so 144 cards per box. You're going to see in there 1 auto and 3 silver mosaic cards, along with 10 no huddle mosaics. So another mosaic variety out there for anybody that's collecting player rainbows or anything like that. Definitely go and check out the no huddle there. That'll be $325.
And this is for our friends up in Canada, Tim Horton Hockey, which is 2023-24 Upper Deck cards. They're 234 cards in the set, plus a binder. Packs run between, $1 and $2. I think it's $1 if you purchase a hot beverage, and $2 if you just want to buy the packs. And they're sold in the 300 Tim Horton restaurants up in Canada. And I think they're available in a couple of the Tim Hortons here in the United States. I know previously they'd been purchased in New Jersey, in the Tim Hortons in New Jersey. We don't have any Tim Hortons here in the Boston area, but I know you can go on eBay and pick up the packs for a pretty good number. So Tim Horton 2023-24 hockey, which I believe is the first release of this season's hockey, right? I think that is the first release. And check it out. You go to check out, just do 2023-24 Tim Horton hockey cards if you're in the United States, and you can purchase the packs at a pretty good rate on eBay. Well, Drew, we have some auction news to report as well.
Yes, we do. A charity auction had Tom Brady's 700th career touchdown jersey up for auction on there. That went for $1.2 million. So a nice little tidy sum brought in by the charity that was benefiting.
Drew, we have the Golden Elite auction that just finished. The T206 Ty Cobb Green Portrait, which got a PSA 8 rating. There were 20 bids for it, and it went for $488,000. So a T206 Ty Cobb Green Portrait went for $488,000. Also in the same auction,
a PSA 8.5 Joe Namath rookie. That's the 1965 set right there. Not quite as high as the Ty Cobb there, but still $207,400 final sale price on that one.
That's a pretty card, isn't it? I really like that card. Yes. I really like that card. Right, Drew. Well, I think that wraps up Hobby Happenings. We have a great interview today, a fun interview. I interviewed Rich Brummetth. Rich is known as the Happy Collector on he's on Instagram. He's also he does videos. He's on TikTok and he's on YouTube, and you can follow him at Happy Collector. And I talked to Rich just about collecting the hobby and about his popular video channel. So please enjoy my interview with the Happy Collector.
It's football season. There's no better time to get your NFL stars, rookies, and veteran cards graded. CGC Cards offers fast turnaround times, so you get your cards back even faster. They have crystal clear holders, so your cards shine. And best yet, all starting at just $12 a card. Head to cgccards.com to start grading your cards today. This week's interview is brought to you by Certified Sports Guarantee, csgcards.com for superior sports card certification and grading.
This segment is sponsored by Collects, the free app for scanning, pricing, tracking, and cataloging your cards. Upgrade to Collects Pro to access exclusive features like exporting collections to spreadsheet, printing checklists, and Collects AI. All right, guys, it's another edition of Collector's Corner. We have a collector and social media creator. His name is Rich Brummetth, but you know him as the Happy Collector. Welcome, Rich.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
You know what? I love your videos. I love your YouTube and your TikToks videos. I can't get enough. I feel like we're old friends because I see you every day.
That's very kind of you to say. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You know what? Let's talk a little hobby, okay? What this whole Fanatics and Panini mess, what do you make of that? And do you think this whole legal wranglings, I guess, is good for collectors?
I mean, in my opinion, as you're saying, it is a bit of a mess, right? Do I think it's good for collectors? I think it all depends on the end decision of the case.
Rich, how do the collectors win? How do the collectors win on either direction?
I mean, how they would ultimately win is exclusive licensing going away, but that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
So outside of that, I think a clean, smooth transition as quickly as possible, and some of the Panini, some of their larger brands following suit over Fanatics, I think could help with that transition for collectors.
What do you mean?
For example, Prism and Optic, some of the larger brand names, it would be nice to see Fanatics not only get the licenses, but be able to continue to keep those products alive. Because I know they have huge fan bases.
I agree. There's so many new releases out there, and as a collector, it's sometimes hard to decide what you're going to buy and what you shouldn't buy. Do you have any recommendations for the new collector and for the experienced collector?
First off, most of us, even experienced collectors, we get trapped in FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Start collecting, like, as you're saying, there is so many options out there. I think it's good to focus on what you want to collect, just to start at least, You can always add later on, but focus on what you want to collect, what you love the most, and then pick 2 or 3 products, main products that you think not only you like, because this is going into your collection, is not just about the monetary gain, right? But also is in your wheelhouse from a standpoint of affordability, right? I've seen too many people post stories about putting things on credit or having to borrow money and so forth. And that is definitely a rabbit hole you don't want to go down.
Do you have a lot of young collectors and parents of young collectors reaching out to you to, how do I get starting in collecting? I have a 9-year-old kid. He loves hockey. He loves basketball. Do you have a lot of people reaching out to you to get opinions and feedback?
I do, and it ranges from ages, right? And one of the cool things about the 2020 boom, right? There are some negatives, but one of the cool things about it, it did get collectors back into the hobby that were adults as well, and a lot of them brought in their kids too. Um, and a lot of the questions go around grading, go around storage, a lot of basics, honestly, that a lot of content out there doesn't truly focus on, right? Because it's not quote unquote sexy or doesn't get a ton of clicks. But I've done a lot of content around that because I think you need to start with the basics to understand the hobby as its whole, if you will.
What do you recommend for the young collector to start in? Is there do you tell them to just buy the Topps flagship? Do you tell them to buy Donruss? Do you tell them to buy Score? What do you direct them at with any 1 or 2 brands that you really like?
I mean, outside my number one rule, collect what you love and have fun doing it. If someone asks me specifics on brands, I try not to get too specific on players, right? Because no one needs another talking head out there, and we can get into some of my other issues with that as well. But from a very broad-based suggestion, I'd say personally, I stay away from unlicensed product.
Yep.
Just I think it's limited from not only from a valuation standpoint, but from a collectability standpoint. Now, if you love it and you like it, great. The same thing with college uniform stuff. If you love it and you like it, awesome. Collect it and buy it. But if you have a thought process on quote unquote flipping or selling these items at some point, either to put food on your household's table, or so you can buy more cards, those unbranded, unlicensed, and college uniform cards typically don't hold value well.
Are there any boxes that you would recommend stashing as opposed to breaking, ripping a box of Topps? Is there anything that you would recommend squirreling away? Do you think there's any value in unopened stuff, unopened materials, especially newer stuff?
I think there definitely is value. I don't think there is as much value as people have been led to believe, especially in the retail side. What we've seen, and I'm sure as well, is the rookie class is going to drive everything, right? So I say every year, if you're into collecting field product, it does make some sense to hold a few boxes, see how it's going to go. Because quite frankly, I had 2020 and 2021 stuff, especially 2020 stuff, that got so expensive that I would never rip it, right? Like I'm not gonna rip a blaster box that's going for over $100. The odds of me getting that return back, even if I don't care about the full return and just want to have fun, it's not that much fun when you say, "Well, this is a $125 box, and I got $20 worth of cards out of it," right? So I think is value. I think that valuation's been hyped up to some degree because you really need the rookie class to hit strong and hard for it to be sustainable long time.
Sure. Did you see the rise of the breakers and the breaking portion of our hobby, and do you think it's going to have legs and continue?
Yeah, I mean, breaking's been around for a while. I mean, seen breaks, if not earlier. I mean, they certainly weren't as big um, as a focus as they are in hobby now. I'd also say seeing a retail break prior to 2020 didn't happen. The reason you got into a break was for the super high end products
Right. The flawless and museum or whatever.
to get into, and you're like, I don't mind going in for a lower price point to get a chance, if you will, at some of these cards. But as those price points have risen, and companies have risen their price points, and that's going to bleed down the rest of us, I think it becomes harder to sustain. That said, I think Fanatics and Tops, if you will, they're doubling down on this stuff, not walking away from a Fanatic with their own platform. A lot of their boxes now, the hot boxes, I talked about this the other day, where I see people pull 8 Mike Trouts out of a single case of cards, or with the 2023 Bowman Chrome. Apparently, there's 15, 20 boxes out there. They're all autographs in the box.
They haven't surfaced yet, right?
I haven't seen any yet.
I haven't either.
Yeah, and how people share stuff, I think we would at this point. But that's all gambling, right? I mean, opening a box in general is an essence in gambling, right? But when you add that additional chase to it, which is a major chase, I think you're doubling down on the fact that people are into the hobby more for that gamble and chase and less for the collectible aspect. Because if I pull that box with all autographs on, I'm happy. But now if I pull a box that's just normal, and I got a fraction of the valuation back, I'm not that happy anymore, and I start questioning whether I want to buy boxes.
Yeah. Do you think there's truth to the talk that the card companies have seeded the breakers in terms of when they give these cards out to the boxes to breakers, they make sure that there's hits in there? Do you think there's?
I mean, in my opinion, I always say that because I don't want to get in trouble.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. I want to know your opinion on it.
I wouldn't be shocked. Think about every time a large breaker shows a huge hit. That's a marketing item for Tops and Fanatics. Outside of signage at major league games or for Panini NFL and NBA games. I mean, how many commercials do you see for sports cards? Really on TV? None.
None, right.
Advertised, because their customer base does all the advertising for them. It's quite brilliant in that manner. So, coming from a marketing standpoint, does it make sense to do that? Yeah. Is it a bit? Is not as transparent as I would like, certainly, and I don't know if they're doing it, but I wouldn't be shocked. Now, in the breakers and the product's defense, those large breakers, they open an outrageous amount of product, right? They, of course, are going to have a much better, open to hit ratio than I would, that I'm opening 3 boxes and they're opening cases. I was just talking to my local LCS. They have 44 cases of Bowman Chrome in. So those numbers, the odds are certainly also in their favor.
Right. Then you and I opening 1 or 2. Right. So are you surprised how much Bowman has grown? The Bowman brand has grown in the last couple of years, as opposed to some of the other brands.
It's interesting, honestly, because people don't like, or I should say, not all people. Certainly, there's a subset of collectors. People don't really care for a college uniform or these newer NBA type products that are pre-NBA, right?
Yep.
They're really not a huge market for it, especially from a long-term valuation standpoint. Outside of if you like that, then you're a Georgia fan, you collect that player from Georgia. So it's interesting. Bowman Chrome first, are in essence the same thing, Now they do have in most cases their pro uniforms or their minor league uniforms, and some like the Topps Pro Debut product. But I think again it comes down to getting players and prospects in your hands as quickly as possible, and it is fun. It is fun to prospect and buy these Bowman Chromes first, and players go now. And I say a lot of people out. Typically, the prospects cost a ton of money. Then you see a cooling off, especially if the release comes later in the year, closer to bleeding in the football and NBA, because you're going to see a natural degression of interest in Major League Baseball as well. Couple that with the fact that some of these prospects are 17, 18 years old, and they're not going to see, even on a good day, they're not going to see the leagues for years. There's typically that cooling off period where you do see prices come down. Some stay fairly high, but I think in general, a lot of them come down. So FOMO, I think, for me is why a lot of that happens, and so it doesn't shock me anymore.
I mean, you look at what's happened with Julio Franco and what's happened with, Wander Franco and Zion Williamson and, who are all these young guys, Fernando Tatis, they hit a bump in their career, right? And some instances they end their career. Would you recommend people just invest in vintage players as opposed to these young prospect type guys?
Well, I use the term invest carefully. But I think you can make the arguments more retail arbitrage than investing, although it does fit the alternate or alternative method of investing definition, whatnot, or so forth, right? So you go back and forth, but I like to use the word, if I'm going to use it in relation to sports cards, I only use it when I'm talking about buying a Hank Aaron or a Tom Brady.
Yep.
English guys that are close to the end of their career or have finished their career, because of those factors. The guys can be so. I mean, even Patrick Mahomes, who I think is on the borderline at this point. He's been in the league long enough where you can say his card is an investment. He certainly could lose his, knock on wood, he certainly could lose his mind and do something crazy and completely tank his cards. But barring that, I mean, he's accomplished enough where you feel comfortable holding his cards longer term. Now, that said, I think especially with the newer cards and even some of the older cards, we're seeing valuations that, especially coming off of 2020, 21, that were at the pinnacle of their price points.
Yep.
People bought in hoping they were going to raise, when I think they bought in at the ceiling. And now these price points are dropping, and people are like, "Oh, see, the sports card hobby is going down." No, it's finding that level. Everything wants to find a level, and it's finding its level on its legs again. And that correction needed to happen. And you still may see corrections in these cards that sold for $500,000 of a young player now selling for 80. Somebody's definitely going to lose a ton of money on a lot of these cards.
In terms of where we're in, we just finished week 2 of the NFL season. Is there any players who you've seen their value increase as a result of their performance on the field? And I know we just lost Nick Chubb, we lost Aaron Rodgers. We lose players from injury just about every week. Is there anyone whose values kind of increased since the start of the season?
I think the rookies, certainly you'll see Pop Richardson. Now he just coming off possibly a concussion, right? Stroud, I think I've personally been impressed with him of all the rookies. And I also like his size. The other guys, not so much. Jordan Love, I think is proving, at least in the very short term, that he can play in this league. There are a lot of question marks. And I think there's still a lot of opportunity to buy his cards on a low point. I just picked up some the other day, quite frankly. One of the things I like to look at on listings especially to buy it now. Sometimes you can catch sellers in the middle, right? They posted that Jordan Love 3 weeks ago, and they really, or a couple weeks ago, and they haven't checked the prices or the performance, so the price point of that card hasn't risen yet. So I like to try to find that and catch that as much as possible.
Do you purchase on eBay, or where else do you get your cards?
eBay, and I am sponsored by them, so I have just a full transparency. The Collects app as well.
Do you use any other tools that makes it easier for collecting? Either websites that you like to go to, or tools like Collects. Collects is one of my sponsors as well, so we're playing on the same team.
Absolutely. I was 130 point. Certainly to help with the crystal clear eBay. Because eBay won't show you the real prices if best offer is taken. So 130 will. I'd like to watch gem rate to see how many cards are being graded. I mean, I just did a video about that this morning, and last week 350,000 cards were graded across the four major players. That's insane.
It's a lot of cards, my friend. It's a lot of cards. What's your stance on the raw card versus the graded card? Do you have a preference, personal preference?
I buy mainly raw. Vintage, I like to buy graded because of counterfeiting issues, especially certainly depending on the card as well. Also, the products themselves haven't done collectors a favor by reprinting them themselves, and making it a little confusing for especially newer or younger collectors to understand this is the reprint and this is the original. Because a lot of times the reprint looks like a very good version of the original. Yeah. They've done a better job now stamping some of their reprints. But it's interesting to see PSA 9 prices being at or at sometimes lower than raw card prices. And I think that comes down to people rather gamble that raw card will gem out as opposed to saying, well, this is a PSA 9 for a million of different factors, because PSA is really not super transparent of why you get the grade that you got. They can always crack it and resubmit, which I don't love, but because of those factors, I personally still like raw. And if I want to grade it, I'll take the time to do it myself.
What are some of the videos that have gotten great response from collectors? What are some of your videos that have gotten the best response from collectors?
I think a lot of people like to keep up to date with what's going on in the hobby. That's really social media. It's about talking about what's going on in the hobby. So hot stories. I try my best to stay as positive as possible. There's a reason I call myself the happy collector. And I think there's a ton of negativity. There's an underbelly of negativity, I should say more accurately, in the hobby that you can quickly get swept under. And being able to give a positive voice out there, I think, is still very important. And honestly, the reason I got into posting on social, because there was so much negativity and incorrect information floating out there that, that's why I don't love the term investment. Because if I was a true investor, an investment analyst, I'd have to be licensed, right? And I would be held accountable for the things I say and do. In the sports card world, I can tell you I think absolutely you should go out and buy this card. You go buy it, and if that card tanks, there's nothing that happens to me. So I'd rather not add to that conversation.
Do you feel that we're still in a growth phase of the hobby, or do you think we're gone on a downward spiral right now?
I think there was some loss of quote unquote collectors within the hobby. But why I say quote unquote is because I think a lot of the people that dropped were quick flipping, especially retail. And again, there's no hate on them. I've met and connected with a lot of resellers that especially during COVID. Their jobs got taken from them, and because their places shut down, and that's how they fed their family. They would reach out to me and ask me, "Hey, what products do you think to go for, and so forth, and what do you think about these cards, and so forth." And so that's why I don't give resellers too much grief. Do I love it when I see the posts of people walking out with shopping cards and stuff? No, I hate it. But I do think we can coexist, and I think a lot of that comes down to the stores themselves and the companies, playing a larger, you know, um, role in guiding that.
Back to the Fanatics and Panini. How do you see that falling out? Do you see Panini settling with Fanatics? Do you see them taking it to the end in terms of following these lawsuits? And how do you think in a year from now these lawsuits in what's our hobby going to look like?
I mean, they can drag out forever, right? I mean,
Unfortunately.
I think a lot of these things come down to who has the bigger pockets, which absolutely is Fanatics. Not only do they have the bigger pockets, but I think they have the stronger relationships with the league through the merchandising that they've built over the last year, decade, if you will, if not more. Uh, so I think Fanatics wins out certainly in the end. Uh, you can't negate Panini's agreements with the individual players either, but there has to be some kind of middle ground there, because those cards, if you can only get auto cards, we've seen like with the LeBrons and Michael Jordans with Upper Decks exclusivity with that stuff. It's great if you can get their autos on any type of card, but it just hits differently when it's on a branded card with them in their jersey.
Right. And what is the National going to look like if Fanatics is controlling X players and Panini's controlling Y players? And are they going to have access to all the, are the collectors going to have access to all these players, at a show like the National?
At a show like the National, I think so. I think the National will do its best to stay as neutral as possible, because I mean, why exclude any of the players at this point? I mean, it's not like they excluded Leaf or Upper Deck and so forth either. But I wouldn't be shocked if, again, Fanatics doesn't seem like they want to deal with middlemen too much, right? So I wouldn't be shocked if Fanatics launches their own event, and I think Fanatic events is a thing, and it's going to be something that eventually takes over as the largest show, because they can bring everybody in, and they can amazing party that is tied to it with sponsors and galore, and I think they probably have a better touch on the new younger club.
We're speaking with Rich Brummetth. He is the Happy Collector on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitter. Rich, if anyone has any questions for you, how do they reach out and ask you a hobby question?
So to reach me directly easily is going to my Instagram, the Happy Collector, because Instagram doesn't gatekeep any of the messages, it lets it through. But certainly on TikTok, Facebook, but Instagram would probably be the easiest for a messaging standpoint.
Do you have anything new planned for videos? Any cool new videos planned? And how often do you post a video?
It can vary depending on my 9 to 5 and how busy I am. I'm running around for that and traveling and stuff. I try to do at least 2 a day, like one in the morning and one during the afternoon, basically before I start work and after I end work, just so I can kind of hit both audiences. One of the newer things I'm doing is I'm trying to lose weight, so I figured, hey, what would be cool as I'm doing my morning walk, do my morning thoughts of the hobby. So that's a new thing I'm doing, which is fun because it lets me kind of talk to myself. My neighbors look at me like I'm crazy as I walk around the neighborhood.
Do you have a favorite show or favorite shows that you like to go to? Card shows?
Around my area, which is the Philadelphia area, the Philly Card Show is great. S&B Sports Collectibles, which again, I'm very friendly with. They throw a lot of mini shows in local malls I go to. I haven't gone to the Fishtown one yet, but I've heard that's very good, and that's definitely on my list to go to.
Very cool. Rich Brummetth, he is the Happy Collector on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter, and on Instagram. Follow him. He has great content. Richard, thank you for your time. It was great to talk a little hobby with you. Anything you'd like to add before I let you go?
No, I think when in doubt, just again collect what you love, and everything will work out. And that did not rhyme purposely.
All right, happy collecting, Rich. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Scanning and cataloging your collection has never been easier, thanks to the free Collects app. Join over 1 million other collectors in digitizing and pricing your collection. Unlock exclusive features to take your hobby to the next level, like printable checklists, huge discounts to hobby companies, Collects AI, and the ability to export your collection to a spreadsheet, all available when you upgrade to Collects Pro. Use Collects AI to help research cards to buy or supercharge the descriptions on your cards to sell them even faster. You also get exclusive discounts with partners like Fanatics, Lupe, and BCW Supplies. Download Collects, that's Collects, COLLX, free on the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Well, Drew, Rich is a cool guy, and it was fun to talk to him a little about what's going on in the hobby. And he's a content creator. He creates tons of content. I think he does a couple of videos every day. He's a busy man when it comes to videos. So, guys, follow Rich at Happy Collector on all the social media. I think that wraps up the show. Drew, we do not have, remember, no show next Saturday coming up, and there'll be no article this week. On next Wednesday show, I spoke with Alan Terrell, who is from waxstat.com. It's a great site. It's called waxstat.com, and it's a free site. And we talked to Alan about his site and about the hobby, and it's a really cool interview. So that will be on next Wednesday's show. Drew, anything else before I let you go?
No, I think we've got everything pretty well covered on there.
Okay, guys, I am going to be in Savannah and with my family for the long weekend for Columbus Day weekend. So I will report back on my trip. Hopefully, I will not have to buy any cards, and we will not see any games, and there'll be no art. I will not visit any card stores. It'll be a fun trip with the family, and I'm looking forward to it. So, guys, we remember no show this Saturday coming up, no article this week, but we will be back next Wednesday for TTMCast 101. Guys, I want to wish everyone many happy returns. Drew, hopefully our mailboxes are full, because boy, we have been stinking up the place lately, right?
It has been so slow. Yeah, I mean, part of it the blame is on me. I've got a stack that I still have not written yet, but maybe I'll work up the energy to do that here soon.
I know I've been writing and sending out stuff. It's still slow. I'm not quite sure why. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hopefully our mailboxes will be full. Wishing everyone many happy returns. We will see you next Wednesday. Be good.